California's coastal real estate market does not want you to see this video, because the story it tells is that Black Americans are leaving the state entirely, and the data says something more interesting. According to research from Cal Matters and Ookla, roughly 275,000 Black Californians have left the high-cost coastal cities over the last 3 decades, but most of them didn't leave California. They moved inland, to suburbs and towns where home ownership is actually possible, and they built new communities in places the headlines never mention. Today I'm counting down the 12 California towns where Black families, professionals, and entrepreneurs are quietly putting down roots in 2026. One of these towns saw its Black population jump 5,100%. Another is the wealthiest majority Black community in the entire western United States. A third elected its first Black mayor in its 150-year history. And number 1 is a town that went from farmland to one of the top destinations for Black homeownership in America in a single generation. If this sounds like the migration story nobody's been telling you, hit that subscribe button because this channel follows the data wherever it moves. Let's count it down. Number 12, Victorville. Victorville sits in the high desert about 85 miles from Los Angeles, and it is the entry point for families priced out of everything closer to the coast. Median home prices run around $420,000, which in California math is practically a coupon, and the Black community here has grown steadily as LA families trade the commute for a mortgage they can actually carry. The trade-off is real. Summers are hot, winters are cold, and the drive down the Cajon Pass is a part-time job, but when I stopped at a barbershop off Bear Valley Road, the owner told me half his clients moved up from LA in the last 10 years, and not one of them regrets the house. The desert asks a lot. It gives back equity. Number 11, Lancaster. Lancaster anchors the Antelope Valley, and along with its neighbor Palmdale, it absorbed one of the largest waves of Black migration out of Los Angeles over the past 3 decades. The aerospace industry, Edwards Air Force Base, and the defense contractors provide solid middle-class jobs, and the Boulevard, Lancaster's revitalized downtown strip, has restaurants, a performing arts center, and a farmer's market that gives the city a genuine center of gravity. Homes run in the high 400s. The wind is constant, the desert is honest, and the community organizations here, from churches to youth sports leagues, are some of the most active in the region. Number 10, Palmdale. Palmdale is Lancaster's sister city, and the Black community here is around 15% of the population and growing, with deep roots that go back to the 1990s exodus from South LA. The city builds aircraft, literally, at Air Force Plant 42, where some of the most advanced planes in history have rolled out of hangars. Families here talk about the same trade constantly, the commute for the square footage, and the high-speed rail connection that has been promised for years would change everything if it ever arrives. Palmdale is a bet on the future. Tens of thousands of Black families have already placed it. Number 9, Suisun City. Suisun City is the pick on this list that almost nobody outside Solano County knows about, and that's exactly why it belongs here. This small waterfront town of about 29,000 people sits on a marina off the Suisun Marsh, halfway between San Francisco and Sacramento, and its Black population share is among the highest of any city in Northern California at roughly 19%. The historic waterfront district has restaurants overlooking the harbor, the Amtrak station connects to both metros, and home prices run far below the Bay Area at around the mid-500s. Suisun City is what happens when a town stays small, stays diverse, and stays affordable long enough for people to notice. People are noticing. Number 8, Vallejo. Vallejo has repeatedly ranked among the most diverse cities in the entire United States, with no ethnic group holding a majority, and its Black community, at roughly 18%, has shaped the city's culture for generations. This is the hometown of Sly Stone, E40, Mac Dre, and HER, which means one mid-sized Bay Area city produced more musical influence than entire states. The ferry to San Francisco takes an hour, the Victorian architecture is real, and home prices in the mid-500s make it one of the last affordable corners of the Bay. Vallejo has been through bankruptcy and hard years, and I've covered those honestly on this channel. But the culture never left. The culture is the reason people keep coming. If you've been watching this far, the top 6 is where the numbers get remarkable. So hit that like button, because this migration story deserves a bigger audience. Number 7, Moreno Valley. Moreno Valley in the Inland Empire has a black population of roughly 17%, one of the highest shares of any large city in Southern California, and the community here is established, organized, and growing. March Air Reserve Base anchors one side of the economy, and the logistics boom, for better and worse, provides tens of thousands of jobs. Homes run in the mid-500s, churches and community organizations are deeply rooted, and the annual events calendar, from Juneteenth celebrations to Black Business Expos, reflects a community that isn't arriving anymore. It's home. Number 6, Rialto. Rialto is a San Bernardino County city of about 104,000, where the Black community makes up roughly 1 in 5 residents, giving it one of the highest Black population shares in the entire Inland Empire. The Renaissance Marketplace development brought retail and restaurants. The logistics corridor brings jobs, and homes in the mid-500s keep the door open for first-time buyers. Rialto is a working city, unglamorous and unbothered, where the block parties are real and the equity is building. Sometimes the best migration destination is the one that never tried to impress anybody. Number 5, Menifee. Menifee is one of the fastest-growing cities in the Inland Empire, and its explosion of new construction neighborhoods has made it a magnet for young Black families leaving LA and San Diego. New homes here start in the 500s. The master-planned communities come with parks and pools built in, and the city's population has been climbing at a pace that has schools opening as fast as they can be built. Menifee's Black community is newer than the others on this list, which means the institutions, the churches, the business networks, the social infrastructure are being built in real time. Watching a community construct itself from scratch is one of the most American things you can witness. Number 4, Eastvale. Eastvale is the affluent surprise of the Inland Empire, a city that didn't exist until 2010 and now has a median household income above $120,000, ranking it among the wealthiest cities in Riverside County. The population is one of the most diverse, affluent suburbs in America, and Black professionals, doctors, engineers, entrepreneurs have been buying here in significant numbers because the schools rank high, the neighborhoods are new, and the community reflects the world their kids will actually live in. Homes run $700,000 to $900,000, which is not cheap, but for a 2-income professional household leaving LA or Orange County, the math works. Eastvale is what upward mobility looks like with a zip code. Number 3, View Park and Windsor Hills. I need to slow down for this one, because View Park Windsor Hills is not a migration destination. It's a monument. This unincorporated community in the hills southwest of downtown LA is the wealthiest majority Black community in the western United States, sometimes called the Black Beverly Hills, with median incomes well above $100,000 and a homeownership legacy that stretches back generations. The mid-century homes have views from downtown to the ocean, and the families here include entertainers, executives, and the descendants of the Black professionals who bought these houses when redlining tried to keep them out and failed. Young Black professionals are now competing to buy back into the neighborhood their grandparents' generation built. That's not gentrification, that's inheritance. Number 2, Antioch. Antioch sits in eastern Contra Costa County, and it received one of the largest waves of Black migration out of Oakland and San Francisco over the past 30 years. In 2020, the city elected its first Black mayor in its history. The BART extension that opened in 2018 connected Antioch directly to the Bay Area's job centers, and home prices around $600,000 remain a fraction of Oakland's. I want to be honest here, because Antioch's story includes hard chapters. The city was an epicenter of the foreclosure crisis, with a rate of 2,446 per 100,000 residents that devastated the very families who had just achieved home ownership, and the community has fought through police department scandals that made national news. But the families stayed, the organizing got stronger, and the political power is now real. Antioch is what it looks like when a community refuses to be a cautionary tale. Number 1, Elk Grove. Elk Grove, just south of Sacramento, has gained nearly 18,000 black residents since 1990, a 5,100% increase, making it arguably the single most significant destination for black California migration in the state's modern history. I'll say that number again, 5,100%. Families left LA and the Bay Area for four-bedroom houses, top-rated schools, and a suburb where black-owned businesses now line Old Town, from salons to restaurants to professional offices. The median home price sits around $650,000, expensive nationally but attainable by California standards, and the community's institutions, churches, sororities, business associations, youth programs have matured from transplant networks into a genuine hometown. The honest part is that the transition hasn't always been smooth, and longtime residents have had to push through moments of hostility to claim their place. They pushed, they stayed, they built. Elk Grove went from farmland to one of the capitals of Black California in a single generation, and the people who made that happen did it one mortgage at a time. That's the list. 12 California towns where the real migration story is happening, quietly, block by block, while the headlines talk about everyone leaving. If this video told you something the news didn't, subscribe because next week I'm covering the southern cities pulling black Californians the other direction, and that comparison is going to start some conversations. Drop a comment with the town I missed, and I'll see you in the next one.